after school here. I've got a couple of lesser known tips for Path of Exile 1, our new league starting tomorrow, and these might be helpful for you if you're a newer player or maybe you just didn't know about these. The first one is regular expressions, and we can use regular expressions to find what we're looking for in our stash, on vendors. It's helpful when we're rolling maps. And they have actually improved it for 3.26. The search field now has 250 characters in length, so it allows us to have more complex regular expressions. And they also, your search will be retained when you go from vendor to vendor, apparently. Before, you used to have to paste in your regular expression every single time you wanted to use it, and now it will be retained. So that's a nice little improvement. So regular expressions are pretty complicated. So fortunately, there's a website that will help you create a vendor or a regular expression for whatever it is you want to use it for in the game. And so in this case, what I've done is under vendor, I've selected the options that my starter character for tomorrow will need. I'll need 3 linked blue sockets, and then also another item that's got 2 blues and 1 red. And you can select whatever combination of colors your particular character needs. I also selected 4 links because it's always nice to get 4 links early if they happen to be on a vendor. Vendors can have surprisingly good items compared to what drops on the ground. And every level, those items will reset. So you have quite a few chances to find what you need on the vendors themselves without just having to rely on loot that drops on the ground. I also selected any +1 wand because I'm going to collect these for whatever characters in the future I may level. And then also, we're always looking for movement speed boots, and so I've checked those off as well. So by checking these options, it's going to build this regular expression up here at the top. You can see if I uncheck the box, it'll update it automatically. And this encodes all those search criteria that you selected down below. You can copy this, and then you can go in game, go over to a vendor, and paste it into the search. And what this is going to do is highlight items for you that meet your search criteria. So here's 2 items that have the correct links for me. That's really would be ideal if this were Act 1 tomorrow and this was my starter character. Here, it's a set of movement speed boots. That's perfect. This couldn't be a better set of items on this vendor. And without this regular expression, well, you can just look through all the items, but it takes more time and it's really easy to overlook something that you might actually really need. Alright, so we have that. You can also use it for rolling maps. And in this case, over under the map mods, what you want to do is to select the map mods that will brick your build, or other mods that you might want to include or exclude depending on your situation. I run a lot of Blight, so I have a couple of options selected here, like monsters can't be stunned and monsters' action speed can't be modified below base value. Both of those are kind of deadly for Blight, so I've made these selections to be able to roll a bunch of blighted maps and then find the ones that I'm not going to be able to run that need to be re-rolled. I can show you what that looks like. I copied my regular expression. Go back in game.
Farewell.
I already rolled a couple of maps for this example. See if I can find that tab. There we go. Paste in the regular expression. You can see it's highlighted this map. That means it's got mods on it that are okay to run. Same with this one. But that this one has at least one mod that I can't run, and there's no regen on this map, so it's excluded this from the criteria. And then same with this one, can't regen. And that's how regular expressions work in the game. You can also use it for searching for items in your stash, and it's really a big help, especially if you've collected a lot of items or you want to roll an entire map tab or a tab full of maps, and you want to know exactly which ones you need to re-roll or to not run because they don't work with your build or don't meet your criteria, whatever those may be. Alright, so that's regular expressions. Super helpful. There is a hidden quest in Act 8 that will give you a guaranteed unique. I'll link this video in the description so that you can check that out. It's really simple and you get a unique out of it. It could be something useful. More than likely it won't, but you never know. And it's pretty simple to do, so why not? Alright, this is something I just discovered, but Act 8 has a secret passage. It connects the Grain Gate, the Bathhouse, and the Solaris Concourse, which are also in Act 8. Somebody made a video showing you where to find them and how to get to the hidden underbelly. So it's kind of a cool little shortcut to get to these different zones in Act 8, if that's something you'd want to do. Alright, so there's a number of zones that have hints about how to find the correct way to get to where you need to go. One of them that I find the most helpful is in the Chamber of Sins. And basically the waypoint is going to mark the way to the exit. And I'll show you what that looks like. This is going to be in Act 2 and in Act 7. Chambers of Sin. And here, you can see that there is this center area that marks the center of the zone, basically, and that the waypoint going from the center is going to be the direction to the exit. So if I just follow that direction, I'm guaranteed to find the entrance to the next zone. That's really helpful rather than wandering around in this zone, which this zone can be a little bit annoying. But that waypoint in Act 2 and Act 7 points the way. Okay. Same thing with the Scepter of God. This is the last zone in Act 3. And basically, each of these zones are circular. And so if you can find the curvature of the wall, it'll let you know basically which corner of it you're in. And the door to the next level will always be in one of the other corners. And so I can show you what that looks like as well. Oops, wrong zone. End of Act 2. Oh, I don't have the waypoint connected there. Anyways, you'll have to trust me on that one. What you'll see is on your mini-map, you'll see that if there's a curved wall that marks the exterior of that zone, it's basically a circle, and so you can easily identify which corner of the zone you're in. You just got to go check the other corners, and you will find the way out to the next level. The next thing that's really helpful is to use the getting help, basically. If you get stuck somewhere, you can get help really easily and quickly, and people can be incredibly helpful. It's really surprising compared to some other gaming communities. But if you go to the main Reddit, Path of Exile sub, you will find the Q&A thread pinned right at the top. You can post a question there and usually within minutes get a really good answer. And there's just a million things to know about Path of Exile. No one can know it all, but there are so many people there who will help you out with every little thing, basically. And if you need more help with your build, for example, you're trying to do your own build or you're trying to follow a guide and it's not working out, there is a subreddit for build, Path of Exile builds. And that's also really helpful if you are trying to understand the mechanics, trying to figure something out about your build, trying to solve a problem, and people can be really helpful there. And then finally, my advice is have your own experience. So people are at radically different levels of experience and game knowledge. And so when they're posting on social media, on Reddit, on forums, and they have an opinion, you don't know if that opinion is based on them experiencing things for the first time, the second time, or they've been playing for 10 years. And so someone's impression of something that's not working correctly can really be different based on those levels of knowledge, and it leads to arguments and disagreements. And just generally, people disagree on things in games all the time too. Path of Exile players tend to be very passionate, and so some of those discussions can get kind of fiery, especially when people are frustrated. I'd say after waiting for almost a year for a new league, 3.26, expectations are just basically impossibly high. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed about something just because they've built this up so much, and people are so excited for this league. Launches just sometimes have problems. There might be problems with the login. You might have to wait in a queue. You might get disconnected on the first day, first couple of days. There might be bugs. Generally, these launches are pretty good, pretty smooth, especially the last several. But there are so many new things that are going into the game with this patch. It's entirely possible that there might be some technical problems. So expect to, have to be patient with that if it does occur. And my opinion is just to avoid the forums and Reddit altogether and just have your own experience with the game. Decide for yourself how you feel about it. Somebody on Reddit will be upset about something. It's almost guaranteed, and it's easy to get sucked into that drama, even if it doesn't really mean anything to you. So, all in all, I hope you have a great experience in the league. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll see you next time.